Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Moon Path reading. This is the Moon Path reading that carries us forward towards the new moon in Libra on October 21st. Now, we're coming out of a full moon that occurred on October 6th, 7th. It was a pretty good full moon, super moon in Aries. The previous reading discussed with us as we moved from the new moon to the full moon about staying in balance and growing forward, trusting your instincts. And it was kind of a tumultuous time, and it was a real test to be able to stay focused and balanced. But now we are looking at the path forward after the full moon and onwards towards October 21st and the new moon energy that is coming forward for us. The big thing about this new moon is that it is the first new moon without an eclipse, so that will be sort of the official end of eclipse season as we move forward towards that time period. So we're going to take a look at a couple cards. I'm using the Lightseer's Tarot. We're going to take a look at see what we need to know as we move forward. I like to call this the magical weather report for this time period, this path that we are walking towards the new moon. This is a collective reading, so regardless of faith or belief, this reading is for you. This is for all and any magical worker, whether you're using prayer, manifestation, meditation, spell work. This reading is for you, and it is to give you an idea of what you might want to focus on, what you might want to work on, basically like a weather report, whether or not you're going to want an umbrella or a rain jacket over the next 2 weeks magically, to kind of just get a read and see what we need to know, a little insight, a little inspiration, most importantly, guidance on a collective level, on a universal collective level. So I'll pull anywhere from 2 to 3 cards, and then we'll have a card here at the end that is what I like to call my punctuation card. And I think I'm going to draw the main card with the pendulum. Yep, that did not want to shuffle anymore. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Hope everyone has had a good time over the full moon. I hope it was beneficial and enlightening and helpful. If nothing else, I hope there was growth. All right, what is the main thing we need to know for this moon path ahead of us? Dialed in pretty good on that one right there. Excellent. So I'm going to take that. I'm just going to put that there. Let that slide off, off camera. Working with a tight, confined space here. And I am going to shuffle just to get a feel for the cards again. And the next one is right there. And we're going to pull a third one. And that one feels like it's in this area. Yep, right there. Okay. So let's take a look at these 3 cards and see what is ahead for us. First of all, our pendulum card. 4 of Swords. We recently got the 4 of Swords at the beginning of the week. Interestingly enough, I believe that was yesterday. It was yesterday's reading. That would be Tuesday. I'm doing this on Wednesday the 8th. Interesting. Okay, so as we build towards the new moon, we're looking at sense of maybe a little stability and a sense of rest. Let's look at all of these. And 5 of Pentacles. Interesting. So definitely a lot of earthy grounding energy happening. This 5 of Pentacles is curious to me, but the overall message is definitely one of resting, of reconciliation, of taking the time out for yourself over the next few weeks to sort of rest and recover from the full moon energy that we've gone through, from this eclipse season that we have gone through. This is a time to rest and look at what maybe your next steps are. This seems to talk about kind of a physical message coming forward, something coming forward that is going to help you tap into a deeper level of grounding and solidity. So what I'm seeing here, so Five of Pentacles is often about scarcity, of being pushed away from something or locked out of a group, or things not working out well. But in this case, this is a little different. It feels like there's a locked door. It feels like there's not a chance for forward progress, and it like there's been a repeated sense of trying to get the door open so much that the woman is exhausted, and that she needs the key to this lock. There's just a sense of exhaustion here, of being very tired, and I think that when I combine these together, and what I am feeling is that the next 2 weeks is very much about rest. It's about recovery. It's about not being able to go forward. Like, trying to push too hard when you are tired is never a good idea. And so the weather report calls for rest and recovery. I would say don't try to put a lot of initiative into a project unless you absolutely have to. If you're working on a magical project or a manifestation, try to manifest rest and recovery and support and groundedness, more time with your feet on the ground, and more time, less running and more standing or lying or sitting, right? Like, this sense of pulling into your own energy and recovering your energy from other places where you may have left it. I'm also feeling that. But this is definitely a time to take your foot off the gas. Very important, very important. The next 2 weeks, the next few days, as we move towards this new moon in Libra, it's going to be about kind of balancing this out, like balancing out this intense energy we've just come through and getting settled, because the only way you're going to know what seeds you need to put in the ground at the new moon is going to come when you are quiet, right? You're only going to find those seeds and those ideas and the energy for the work to come is if you take the next few weeks and lay low. You can still do work, but it is of the sort that feels very internal, very quiet, very slow. Yeah. This doesn't feel like a time of scarcity over the next few weeks. This just feels like a time to rest, and to not push forward too hard. I think if you do push forward, if you're trying to be like, oh, who cares? I'm going to go ahead and try and push through this sigil work, or this, I'm going to push through this big thing that I want to push through. I think you're going to run into this locked door. I think there's a certain point where you're just going to be exhausted. And I'm drawn to this figure because this is a sense of almost Tai Chi, Qigong, like slowing down, not trying to do a flurry of blows, just settling in to a very strong, grounded, and like reciprocal energy of healing and recovery. Yeah, just keep getting that over and over. It's really important. I mean, if there is something coming up that you absolutely have to push for, do so with this understanding. Give yourself extra time to rest and recover. Make sure you're getting enough sleep over the next few weeks. That's going to be very important. And yeah, find a way to honor that and that internal energy recovery. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to pull a Faeries Oracle card because they just sort of giggled at me. So, Faeries Oracle card by Brian Froud and Jessica Macbeth. All right. Big shout out to Jessica Macbeth. Hope you're watching this. If not, that's cool. All right. Let's see. What do the Fae want us to know about this time period? Oh, there it is. Right there. Yeah. Good. 2 cards for the price of 1. Fascinating. Master Maker and Honesty. Wow. Okay, coming out swinging. The Master Maker is all about making sure you do your best work. The only way you can do your best work is if during this time period, being honest with yourself and honest with your situation and not putting your foot on the gas. The Master Maker takes his time and works towards the culmination that can only be accomplished with perfect work or with slow, diligent work. And so know that this is the time that you are working. I think that is the paradigm that people need to understand is this is the work. The four of swords, this rest and recovery and this balanced energy, that's the work. That's what you need to put into this. Master Maker is what you need to put into that idea. So a master sleeper, a master dreamer, and being honest with yourself, being honest about the situation, being honest about what you can and cannot do. That's really great. And then, so yeah, that's what the Fae want to tell us today, is that this next time period is about doing this kind of work at a master level. Can you be a master healer for yourself? And to do that is going to take honesty. It's going to take you looking at yourself and being very honest and taking the time to reflect inward to find those places where you can be honest with yourself and your recovery and your next step. I think things will really become more clear as we get closer to the 21st. If you are doing this more restful routine, excuse me, voice broke there for a second. Interesting. All right. Let's pull the punctuation card, which is going to be the Celtic Spirit Oracle. I've already chosen that. Really interesting energy for the next couple of weeks. I think we're just looking back. I'm also seeing this sense of like meditating and looking back over this past new moon to full moon cycle and looking over this slip of the tongue, eclipse season, right? Let's look through what we've gone through. What have we stepped through? What have we been through over the past few weeks? That is only going to be accomplished by this. It's not something we can quickly sort through and dash through. We need to take our time, chew on it, digest it, and figure out what our next steps are. Getting that very strongly over the next 2 weeks. And the card, that was so funny. I knew I was done because these cards just pinged in my hand. And the card is right here. All right, our punctuation card is Portal. I love that. Change, gateway, new beginnings. So I think what we are looking at when we go from new moon to full moon at the latter part of October, we're looking at a new beginning. But the only way to understand what that beginning is going to be or how that might look is if we take care of ourselves and we rest and we meditate and we knock rocks off of our carefully placed decorations. But go slow. If I had gone slow, that probably wouldn't have happened. Let's tuck this in here. Okay. And there we have our moon path reading. Get the cards. Perfectionist qualities are coming through. So yeah, there we have it. Being masterful at recovery. What can you do? So what does that look like? That looks like if you are a practitioner of yoga and using Vedic practices like slowing down, making sure you're doing maybe 2 times as much in your practice as far as resting. If you're doing manifestations, look at how you can make a manifestation about how you can get more time to get more rest. So you want to manifest recovery. A lot of healing work would be really beneficial during this time because there's going to be other people that don't see this reading that are going to be pushing really hard over the next 2 weeks, and they're going to look like this. They're going to look like this by the 21st. And so how can you help them? The only way you can help them is to help yourself and then help them. Help yourself first, get yourself healed, get yourself rested. Because I think we're coming up on a gateway at the new moon on the 21st. And so we want to be ready for it. Yeah. If you want to take this to the next level, I've been doing this on my daily readings. Please pull a card of your own. Pull a card from your tarot deck, from an oracle deck, pull a rune, anything, and add that in, and that'll be your personal sort of connection to this collective reading. It'll add an extra little layer that's just for you. And if you want to put that down in the notes below in the comments, that'd be great. I would love to see those and see how they are echoing this reading or perhaps adding a new layer to it for you. It's a way to really tune into the singular frequency of your connection in the collective reading. If that makes any sense at all, it makes sense in my brain. I hope it makes sense in yours. And yeah, all right. There we have it for the next few weeks. I will see you next on tomorrow's daily reading, and I've got a couple pendulum videos coming up as well. So busy week for me, and I wish you all the best. If you only watch the Moon Path readings, that is fine. I wish you all the best leading forward to the 21st. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're resting and reflecting, being honest with yourself, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and strength, everybody. Bye-bye.